Public backlash against Democrat draconian lockdowns is building, gaining momentum, and now there are even cities declaring themselves sanctuary cities for reopening. And President Trump responds to Nancy Pelosi's comment about his weight. As Democrats in blue states continue their tight-fisted, wannabe dictator-type tactics in engaging a police state, in the state of Michigan, you have the governor threatening that every time people take to the streets to protest, she's just going to add days to the lockdown. Now, this is despite the fact that her own legislature has voted to now end her emergency powers ability, and that she needs to run these lockdowns and these measures that she is enforcing by them. She's vetoed it, says she's not signing it. Okay, I would say the Michigan Supreme Court needs to step in, like they did in states like Wyoming and other states like Wisconsin, where those Supreme Courts did step in and say, that's enough. Governor, you've overreached. You have gone beyond your allotted time in having emergency power. States are open. Michigan Supreme Court needs to do the same. You have a woman right now who has put a 77-year-old barber out of work. He tried to follow the rules. He wanted to be a good, patriotic American, believing he was doing his part. He shut down his barber shop for 2 weeks. 2 weeks became 4 weeks. 4 weeks became 6 weeks. 8 weeks in, and he can't afford it. So he reopened to the support of his community. His own local law enforcement officers made it clear they weren't going to do anything to impede him being open. He practiced social distancing. He wears a mask. He asks his customers to wear masks. He removes seats out of the waiting area. He wipes down, disinfects everything in between customers, and yet the governor sent in the state police, and you knew that the police didn't want to have to be there. You knew that they didn't want to have to issue that official cease and desist. Then he got arrested. He got out on bail. Then she had the state pull his license. Unbelievable. Same state where they're going around and ripping up people's gardens. You can't be planting food right now. Don't you know there's a viral outbreak? This is what's happening in California. Michigan. California is a whole nother set of insanity. In fact, a community in California, Atwater, has decided they are now a sanctuary city. Since California is a state of never-ending sanctuary cities, why, for illegal aliens, there are sanctuary cities that are going to enforce no drug laws of any kind, so you can go there, get stoned, take whatever illegal narcotics you want, it's okay, and the governor doesn't seem put off by that. So the governor of Atwater, California, the Mayor Crichton of Atwater, California, said, you know what, we're going to be open, and we're not going to enforce any of the state shutdown laws.
And tonight, a new kind of sanctuary city in the North Valley. Atwater cleared their businesses for reopening. The decision was unanimous during a special meeting today. Merced County is trying to move forward with reopening as well. CBS 47's Dennis Valera reports.
Yes, and thank you all.
Atwater became the first sanctuary city for businesses in a 4-0 vote. The move drops any shelter-in-place enforcement by the city, allowing businesses to operate and encouraging them to follow CDC guidelines like social distancing.
We need to do this today.
The vote came after nearly an hour of public comment, mostly from small business owners, talking about the losses they've had because of the pandemic.
This is really something that the community dictated, not the electeds, because we listen to what the community has to say, and That's what we just did here today, and the response is overwhelming.
One person did speak against the resolution, questioning business owners' ability to follow guidelines.
How many people in the overflow hall or outside are standing less than 6 feet away from each other, or who aren't wearing face masks, or who didn't sanitize or wash their hands?
Now, while all businesses are encouraged to reopen, Mayor Creighton is still advising some businesses like salons to urge some caution because the state can still take away their licenses for violating the state shelter-in-place orders. Merced County Supervisor Darren McDaniel, an Atwater resident himself, says the governor's office has denied their request to move into Phase 2.5 like Mariposa County. McDaniel says they'll continue to press the state to reopen.
My colleague and I are on the same page, Scotty Silvera out of the Los Banos area, District 5, and we're going to be pushing for a narrative basically to be standing united with the city of Atwater.
The resolution also allows places like churches to reopen. Dennis Valera, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
There's always a snowflake in every crowd, and that one wearing the sock over his mouth. Somebody touched me. Look at all the people in this room. Well, then get out of that room. Go home. Stay there. If living makes you that uncomfortable, well, there are alternatives. If you don't want to be around people, if you're so panicked, they're not going to be able to do this safely, stay home. Don't project your fear, your phobia, your inadequacies, the fact that you are mentally deficient. Don't inflict that off on the rest of us. Kudos to the mayor of Atwater for hearing the heart cry of his people and saying, we're going to do something about this. And I fully believe they will do a great job. Now, notice that he had to give that warning, though. If you own a business that receives licensure from the state, i.e. bars, barbers, be careful because they can't protect you from that. By the way, they didn't interview the police chief who said he's not going to enforce and he's not going to use his officers to enforce any of the draconian shutdown. In California, the governor has also told fire departments not to respond. Can you believe this? Not to respond to calls to businesses that aren't supposed to be open. Well, the fire chief in Atwater says if your business catches on fire, he'll be there. His team will be there. So this is going to get interesting. And again, the backlash of the voters that is building across the country over this stuff. And you have these governors like King Cuomo over there in the People's Republic of New York. You know, when people are talking about, look, I can't get unemployment. I can't get anybody on the phone. I'm on hold hell forever. Nobody answers. All of your state offices are closed. I need work. I got to have a job. Then go get an essential job. Any honest work, any service that's being provided for people, honestly, is essential. This business where we have allowed these officials, these elected officials, first of all, they're not leaders, they're representatives. And that is something that is really missing from the dialogue on all this. We refer to these people on Capitol Hill as our nation's leaders. They're not our leaders. They're our representatives. They're there to represent the will of the American people. Are they right now? No. In these states, they're there to represent the will of their citizens. Are they? No. They are wannabe little rogue dictators. I have been saying this for weeks, long before the rest of conservative media was. I recognize what little Mike DeWine was up to when he was one of the very first governors to go into shutdown mode. Why just think for the safety of the people? He and that psychobabble doctor of his version of Dr. Fauci, her name is Dr. Acton, and you know the two of them together they're dangerous. They're dangerous. Now the governor is trying to reopen Ohio, and it's getting some interesting. He's doing it piecemeal and in stages, and it's driving people insane. For the love of God, just open already. My son was driving through the state of New Jersey. He didn't have the official toll ticket. So they told him at the toll plaza, well, we'll have to get your information. We will mail you the $51 for a 50-cent toll. Well, there's a processing and handling fee. And they just want you to mail the check in. He wants to call. He wants to talk to somebody. Was on hold nearly an hour. No answer. Can't go to any office. But then again, it's New Jersey. So we know it's run by the Sopranos crew over there. The mayor himself looks like a reject from a mob crew. I mean, it's just corrupt. New York, it's corrupt. They have been bilking the system to try to get extra corona money. That's why their numbers are inflated. And the only one to admit this so far is the the governor of Colorado. So this is what we're dealing with in the face of all of this pandemic, this mass-created hysteria. The corruption that's going on is unprecedented. And thank God that there are mayors that are now standing up saying, we hear the heart's cry of our people. We are not going along with this. God bless the mayor of Atwater, California, and we can only hope that there are other mayors doing this across the nation. That said, President Trump, of course, he loves to, I call it, pull the pin on a grenade, throw it into the crowd, see what happens. The other day when he said that he was taking chloroquine on a daily basis to prevent from getting the coronavirus, well, the mainstream media went berserk. He can't do that. I guess he can. He has a doctor, and the doctor's prescribing it for him. Well, of course, yeah, this is unproven. It's untested. It's been around 50 plus years. It's used to treat malaria. It's used in certain forms of cancer treatment. And this is unbelievable to keep calling it this unfounded, untested, risky. If this had been anybody but Donald Trump using it, if Tom Hanks, when he got coronavirus and he and his wife self-quarantined, like all the other Hollywood people that have gotten coronavirus, and yet, amazingly, none of them ever have any symptoms. But if Tom Hanks had gotten coronavirus for real and had real symptoms, if he had taken chloroquine and come out and said, I took it and within 2 days I was feeling better, and within a week it was gone. It was gone. Why? It would be the greatest medical breakthrough in history. Everybody would have to have it. It would be the go-to. But because Donald Trump said something nice about it, immediately the backlash. And of course, Dr. Fauci and his ilk don't want there to be something besides their vaccine that works. But when the president said he is taking it, he's under doctor's orders to do so, Nancy Pelosi had this to say.
He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved by the scientists, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So I think it's not a good idea.
Really? This woman who is morbidly stupid is going to talk about the president's weight? I love that actor James Woods took to Twitter to say she's morbidly corrupt. Oh, boom! Tell us, Nancy, the president is not taking a salary to be the president. Why? Because he's already independently wealthy, and he donates the presidential salary to various charities. You, on the other hand, came into the hallowed halls of Congress, just a member of the middle class. And in your time in being in Washington, D.C., you have amassed a personal wealth just shy of $200 million. But you're not corrupt. It's all been for the people. Right. So, kudos to James Wood for that incredibly observant, truthful, factual tweet. And of course, the libloons are just rolling over that. But for her to talk about the president's weight like that, I like the fact, too, that James Woods followed that up with several other tweets of people like Rosie O'Donnell, Michael Moore, Jerry the Nads Nadler, that walking little fire plugs. And speaking of obese... yeah. Nancy, all that ill-gotten wealth that you've gotten your hands on, you would think that you would at least be able to afford a set of dentures that fits. Because again, even while you were on there with Anderson Cooper, you're still fixing your dentures. Would you please buy false teeth that actually fit? Or hey, you can go down to Florida. They've got great cosmetic dentists there. They'll like drill holes into your gums and screw new teeth in. It'll be great. And you every time you do a press conference or a TV interview. It's kind of disgusting, and it gives me an immediate gag reflex. Stop. Ugh, nasty. You got no business talking about the president's weight. Especially, can you imagine if a Republican talked about a female's weight like that? Oh, wait. Remember when Megyn Kelly tried to nail then candidate Trump on, "You've referred to women as fat pigs"? Only Rosie O'Donnell. The hue and the backlash would be unbelievable. But it's okay. And despite the fact that James Woods took to Twitter to defend the president, we have a president right now who needs no defending. He's able to defend himself.
Last night, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi called you morbidly obese. I just wanted to know what you had to say in response.
Oh, I don't respond to her. I think she's a waste of time. These people are sick. Pelosi is a sick woman. She's got a lot of problems, a lot of mental problems. We're dealing with people that have to get their act together for the good of the country.
I don't even need to make a follow-up comment. That was a mic drop. She's sick. She's got a lot of problems. Boom. Hey, Pastor Marty here. Thank you so much for watching the afternoon drive. I really do appreciate your comments. I do read them. I do comment on some of them back to you, so be looking for that. Hey, tell your friends what we do here, and it's a lot of fun, and we'll give you a lot of great information, and this is a BS-free zone right here. Make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. Check your subscription status. You know, sometimes YouTube, in being helpful, will unsubscribe you, even if you didn't ask to be. So you want to check your subscription status. Make sure you have smacked the bell to get notification of my rants. And don't forget, you got to click the word all, or they won't tell you.